Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'll be going over some important updates on the car market. Before we get into this, as always, link to my car buying guide in the description down below, and then some of the information comes from Cox Automotive. Let's get into it. We're going to start off by going over the used car market first, and then we'll dive into the new car market. And the reason we're starting with used is because there's some real data points to go over. So wholesale prices have increased 1.6% so far in the month of August. Now, when we look at the amount of year-over-year price change, adjusted and everything, prices are still down, but again, that increase shows that there is strength within the used car market. Now, with the year-over-year declines right now, they sit at the total average 4.5%, luxury 4.1%, compact cars 6.2%, midsize 4.3%, pickup trucks 5.6%, CUVs and SUVs 5%, EVs 7.2%, non-EVs 3.6%. So EVs are still, on average, depreciating twice as fast as non-EVs, but even EVs have slowed down in their depreciation. Now, if you aren't familiar with what's happening within the used car market, prices are still higher than what they ought to be considering all the market conditions, but because new car prices are so high, it's putting a lot of pressure on the used car market because prices have come down and people are in situations where they have to buy a car right now, and so they look at the new and the used and they see that the used is the one they can afford because, again, those prices have actually come down, whereas the new car prices, they've come down a little bit, but not really. I mean, you look at the year-over-year change with new cars and it's pretty much flat. So we're in this situation where the used car market's only going to continue to heat up, right? I don't think the prices are going to skyrocket, but I think they're going to be stable for quite some time because of the massive prices that we're seeing within the new car market. And I guess this is a good transition into the new car market. I don't have data points quite yet, but what I can tell you anecdotally is I am seeing the biggest cool off in the new car market that I have seen, I think, pretty much ever. It is really crazy because there are some pretty big discounts on certain cars, and pretty much everything has a discount at this point. I can't really name, I mean, let's see. Outside of like a super low production specialty vehicle, I can't really name a single model that doesn't have some sort of discount on it. Dealerships are discounting everything, even stuff that is normally considered special. They are discounting, and that shows you the weakness in the new car market because, again, a normal new car market is going to see certain discounts, right? Some vehicles are just inherently not in demand. Other vehicles are in higher demand, so you'll usually see some vehicles with discounts and other vehicles without discounts. But when you see a situation where everything's being discounted, and even with everything being discounted, people still aren't buying, that just shows you that prices are too high. Now, it's obviously going to vary manufacturer to manufacturer because some manufacturers have decided to go deep into the discounts. I mean, look at Stellantis. They've got some huge discounts, like, 20 plus, almost 30% off certain models. I mean, I've even seen dealerships with certain vehicles that have a little bit more markup in them advertising almost 50% off, which you think that there shouldn't be that much margin in a car, but depending on the car, sometimes these cars have quite a bit. And so with all of that in mind, I think that this is going to cause a huge shift in the new car market in the coming months because we're at this situation where dealers aren't really getting as many cars, right? The automakers have kind of slowed down production, but in the cars that are seeing the lots, they just aren't selling. And so the automakers are going to be left with a choice. Do they want to continue to slow down production and continue to see fewer and fewer sales, or do they want to ramp up the discounts and ramp up production? Time will tell in terms of what they will do. So far, they've decided to just continue to produce less. But either way, I just don't think the current pricing is even sustainable, like even at the current market amount. So again, the new car market's at about 15 million units right now. On normal markets in that 17, almost 18 million unit range. I think that if the automakers continue to do what they do, then we're probably going to drop down to 14.5, maybe 14 million units in the US market. I really do think we're going to lose that many buyers. Again, it's not going to happen overnight, but it is going to be a gradual transition. And so, yeah, it's definitely a sticky situation. It's a big problem. And the simple fix to the problem, and obviously it's someone else's bank account, not mine, but a simple fix I think is just bigger discounts. And when I say bigger discounts, I'm not thinking discounts that are astronomically large. But I think that not every single new car, but on average, most new cars are probably overpriced by about 10 to 20%, depending on the car. And again, that's that's less than the price increase that we saw over the pandemic. So even if these automakers decrease prices on models by that 10 to 20% margin, again, that's the average across the board. Some cars are not going to need as much discount. Other cars are going to need a bigger discount compared to that range. Yeah, they would still be higher than what the prices were prior to the pandemic, but everything else is more expensive. So I think that is what would be needed to basically increase volume, but I just don't know if that's what automakers want with the market. So let me know what you guys think about this whole situation. I'll see you.